And Rob, the Labour Party have been talking about climate change. They want government action as soon as possible.
Yeah, so Labour saying that they are now planning to call a vote in the House of Commons on Wednesday to force the government to call what they're calling a climate emergency. Now, that's significant because that's the first demand that the Extinction Rebellion protesters had. And those are the people that, of course, brought parts of London grinding to a halt in the last couple of weeks. They wanted the government to declare this emergency as they saw it. Now, Labour will table this vote on Wednesday. It won't be binding, so it won't materially force the government to do anything, but I think it would send out a very strong message. I think it also puts the government and many Tory MPs in an interesting position, because they will either have to side with this, essentially giving tacit support to one of the aims of these protesters, or they will have to explain why they are voting against something that a lot of people think is a very, very pressing emergency. Now, the Shadow Business Secretary, Rebecca Long-Bailey, has been making the case for this on the airwaves this morning. This is what she told Sky's Sophie Ridge a short time ago.
We'd be the first parliament in the world to declare such a climate and environment emergency, but that's the first step in a long list of radical action that we want the government to take. We want them to take action that's commensurate with this national emergency, and in doing so, not just provide a better quality of life for people here and across the world, but also unlock the huge economic benefits that back in a green industrial revolution, which is what the Labour Party has been pushing for some time, and the economic benefit that that will bring to many of our communities right across the UK, through to manufacturing, all the way through to energy efficiency measures.
Now, there are some specifics that Labour are asking for in this. They want more investment in green energy, low-carbon transport, more funding for environmental protection. But I think the challenge is to really explain in detailed terms how they plan to take such dramatic action to reduce emissions. Sophie asked Becky Long-Bailey there about Heathrow, whether the Labour government would be in favour of Heathrow Airport expansion, or whether that would have too much of a detrimental impact on climate change. And she said the party was still sceptical of that. So I think the party's got a way to go. If they're going to really start convincing people, they need to lay it out in more detail, I think. But I think it could be canny politics. We've seen these protests taking the headlines for the last couple of weeks. Of course, a cynic might say this is another way of shoring up some Labour support, especially among the youth vote, ahead of the local elections next week and the European elections in May.
OK, Rob, for now, thank you.